Recasting is always a challenge, and that's even if the character that you're recasting is in a set of movies that don't share a continuity. But when it comes to major movie franchises with connected cinematic universes, replacing a character could be a Hulk-sized task if there ever was one. There have been several on-screen Hulks over the years. Why, in just the MCU alone, there were technically 3. In Bruce Banner's MCU debut, the part was played by Edward Norton, who gave a performance that was well acted, but feels very A Tale of Two Cities to me. Go figure. Ed Norton is a good actor. I have actually never seen a bad performance by this actor. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, I'm just saying I haven't seen it. And I think in some sense he was very good casting as this character. He definitely does well playing into the character's intellect, but I don't really get a good grasp for the character's tragedy. Edward Norton felt far too in control of his actions, and because of that, his angry outbursts actually felt a little bit forced to me. I really couldn't buy into this Hulk being a tortured soul burdened by issues mostly outside of his control. Regardless, he made for a likable lead, and it would have been interesting seeing what route this version of the character would have went down, because it certainly wasn't the way that they wound up going with his successor in the sequels. The role was filled by Mark Ruffalo. He started off in the Avengers, and he's still continuing in the role to this day. But he never really felt like the character from the first film. And he also didn't really feel like the character from the comics either. His presentation was all different. Somehow, this was an even calmer Hulk. I mean, sure, his Bruce was a little neurotic, a little bit confused and unsure of himself at all times, but I don't think I'd describe his Hulk as particularly angry. Like the Hulk that came before him, I always felt that the use of his powers lacked the impact that it could have had. Because there's something truly beautiful about showing someone take their curse and turn it into a gift. And I don't know, I didn't get that here. I always felt like the Hulk transformations came far too easy for him. Having said that, I also feel that Ruffalo has a sense of sincerity to him. You felt for him when things didn't go his way, when he had relationship woes or identity issues. He's a very wholesome and shockingly human Hulk. I completely understand why audiences fell in love with him in this portrayal. But he is just so different from his predecessor that for a long time being, there was some debate on whether or not the first Hulk movie was even considered canon. Yeah, you know, that movie that ended with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man showing up and kickstarting the whole MCU? For some reason, some people thought that that didn't count anymore. That was considered to potentially be non-canon now, all because the Hulk had a new face and a new personality. Luckily, this discussion calmed down after Captain America: Civil War, a movie that saw William Hurt return to the role of General Ross 8 years later. Ironically, General Ross would be recast several years later following the passing of the actor who played him. In my personal opinion, both Norton and Ruffalo are missing the anger that makes him the Hulk. The raw, scary unpredictability that comes with this character. And I think a lot of that has to go toward the audience these movies were geared toward. The MCU has always tiptoed around certain issues that they deemed too adult, which makes sense as these movies were mainly made for a younger audience. Which is why Tony has issues with anxiety instead of alcohol. So they might have felt that showcasing severe anger issues might be in poor taste. Understandable, but how do you really tell a Hulk story without that? The guy wasn't just green from gamma rays. I guess what I'm saying is, if it came down to it and I had to choose between Edward Norton or Mark Ruffalo, I'd go with Eric Bana. He may have been in the worst Hulk movie, but he was far from the worst Hulk. Better than any actor that came before or after him, Eric Bana really captured the tortured and tormented soul of Bruce Banner. He was a well-meaning loose cannon. He had a good heart, but he had issues that were an issue to all those he came in contact with. He was just as scared of the Hulk as everyone else around him. And he really felt like a guy who was just being strung along for the ride. By the end of the movie, he gains a sense of control. And his arc makes sense. But even in saying that, it still feels like it's going to be a work in progress. I don't care that he was in the worst Hulk movie, he was to me the best Hulk. In terms of accuracy, it's this one for me. You know, Hulk dogs aside. In terms of having a compelling character, Well, once again, it's this one for me. The actor, not the movie. I do, however, want to credit Mark Ruffalo with this. I don't think his interpretation was ideal for the character, but this iteration of the character became ideal for him. The character's transformation into Smart Hulk was a wise decision, as it plays into the strengths of the actor that's playing him. Now you get to showcase his personality no matter what his pant size is. Again, don't think it's ideal for the character, but it's ideal for this version of the character. I don't think this is what you want to see Hulk doing, but it's kind of what you want to see Mark Ruffalo doing, so it might not work in one way, but it certainly works in another. Actually, I feel very similar to Chris Hemsworth playing Thor. Thor. He's not playing Thor. He is not a Thor. I really need to reiterate here that I don't have a problem with any of the performances. I can't actually say that I think any of the acting here is bad. It's just that the part these actors were asked to play doesn't seem to be the same character from the comics. In actuality, I don't think we've ever gotten a bad Hulk. A couple inaccurate ones maybe, but not bad. Still, each and every Hulk brought something else to the table. Bana played into the character's more unhinged nature, Norton brought out the character's obsessive brilliance, and Ruffalo showcased the character's more likable and even lovable qualities. They were each uniquely their own and still the Hulk. Now earlier on you may have noticed that I mentioned that there were in fact 3 Hulks in the MCU. Yet I've only listed 2. So you may be asking yourself,
who's the third man?
Well, that is in fact the O.G. Hulk, Lou Ferrigno. The man played the part in live action from 1977 to 1990. He would continue to lend his voice to the angry hero in animation, and for a time being in the MCU, acting as the Hulk in The Incredible Hulk and the first 2 Avengers movies. There's obviously a lot more to examine with his time as the character. I mean, the guy did the job longer than anyone I can foresee in the near future doing it. I think he's probably the name that's closest associated to this role even today. He was really iconic, so much so that the rest of his career was still defined by this role even when he wasn't playing it. But I think that really needs its own video. So if you'd want to see a video on Lou Ferrigno's incredible run as the Incredible Hulk, let me know in the comment section below by leaving a comment saying,
"It's the Hulk, not Hulk."
I am vengeance. I am the night, and that was V Infuso. Just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.
So, if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too would like to become a V-generate, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, nerds!
And if you're not joining the fun, you're in for one bad day. And you know what they say about having one bad day?
Catch him next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.